Hello and welcome back to Internalize the podcast. We are back for another week of rambling, talking, whatever happens. Things will happen today. I wrote a lot today, which is kind of surprising, especially considering midterms are coming up and I have to study quite a bit. But somehow I had enough time to write this. So yeah, let's see. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about the second brain system, which is basically it's a system that was pioneered by Tiago Forte, and it's basically on the why do I say basically so much? It has the principle of this is that human brains are good at creating ideas, but it's not good at remembering these ideas. So if I come up with an idea, it's likely the idea itself may be good, but it's likely that I'll forget it. So it helps you collect ideas and helps you come up with new ones based on tiny bits of information that you already know and have. So if you read a blog post or something, you find something that is of value to you. If you add it to your second brain system, it could come of use to like some other time. So yeah, that's the main advantage that comes with the second brain system. It helps you start from abundance instead of starting from scratch. So if you have to write a blog post, you don't have to, what do you say? You don't have to think of what you're supposed to write from the start. You can just look at your notes, you can look at your whole system, and based on that, you have an abundance of stuff to write about. You can just start from there, which is super cool. And it helps you offload it helps you once you offload things to second brain, burnout will become less common because you'll be more reliant on it, I guess. Your brain will be more free and it'll become more fun doing things that you want. Now the main parts of a second brain system, basically the second brain system uses a framework called code. So code is an acronym for capture, organize, distill, and express. So capture basically helps you capture ideas as fast as possible, helps you take things out of your brain or out of your newspaper or your book or whatever you're doing and put it down into a place where you can come back to it later. Then organize, as the name suggests, helps you take information that you have noted down and put it into places where it will be useful. So let's say I read something that is about writing. So that would, for me personally, it would be useful in my blog or in places where writing, maybe my YouTube channel, depending upon what I want to publish there. And so yeah, and let's say I come up with a chord progression. That information would be useful for making music, of course. Next is distill. Distill helps you take that organized information and reduce it down to ideas that are most important to you. Basically, it helps you take information, simplify it down to a state, and it helps you create your own interpretations from it. It does sound kind of vague and kind of humanity studenty, but it kind of is, honestly kind of is vague, but that is kind of what I have understood from the stuff I've read. And express, finally, E, is it helps you take the ideas out and flesh it out into something, some sort of output from what you have learned. Now let's talk about my second brain system. Basically, my capture part, C, consists of four things: a calendar, to-do list, note-taking app, and read it later app. So my calendar of choice is Google Calendar. Previously, I did use Outlook Calendar, but I find that Google's Calendar is a lot more aesthetically pleasing and it's easier to create events on. And I mainly use it to, like, basically every Sunday, I sit down and I write down everything I need to do. Basically, I create my calendar plan for the whole week on Sunday. And next up, to-do list. And I use Microsoft To Do. I see when I just started using a to-do list in like 6, it was what I started off with, and since then it's been pretty much perfect. And like it has everything I need. Custom lists, it has groups, quick adding, like editing. Everything is really fast and it's really simple, and it looks really nice as well. I also like the My Day feature, which helps me focus on some certain tasks which are without being overwhelmed by the sheer number that I have to do. And yeah, so that is cool. Next up, Google Keep. That's my note-taking app of choice. It's really light. That's what I really love about it. It's really light, has extremely low load times, and This helps me write stuff into it extremely quickly without having to wait for the page to load. It is also, as other Google products are, extremely aesthetically pleasing, which is something that I really like about it. And yeah, so basically, whenever I see or read something that's interesting, I open up Google Keep and copy, paste, paraphrase, or take a picture of my notes. If I come up with an idea, I'll open it up and then just throw my idea into it. Now my Read It Later app is Instapaper. So it helps you save links for reading later and also allows you to highlight and note take within the app, although I don't use it. It also provides you with an email ID that you can use to subscribe to newsletters, which is the main reason I use it over my previous Read It Later app, which is Pocket. Now, Organize. Basically, everything goes into Notion. I have a ton of databases to just keep track of everything I do. Like I have a YouTube thing, I have a blog and podcast thing. I have one for my schoolwork. I have one for notes. I have one for everything. I have a lot. It's really powerful and it helps me break down everything into small steps and keep track of what I'm doing at what time. Previously, I did use something called Obsidian, but it didn't really work for me and I went back to Notion. It has all my college related information too. Some people actually use something called Readwise to send highlights and notes into Notion from Instapaper and other places, but it is paid and I didn't want to pay, so I couldn't pay. So I just manually copy paste at the end of the week. Now distill. I basically just convert all my notes into to-do lists, like to-do tasks or ideas in Notion based on like what it's used for. And so basically what that does is it takes my notes and makes it useful for other things. And Express, you guys know what it is. It's the blogs, podcasts, and videos. It's extremely simple. It's really easy. So that's all there is to it, honestly. So since I've actually started using this, it's become a lot easier to manage my time. Or rather, more than the time, it's managing the work that I'm doing. Because there is so much stuff I tend to forget things, and this just helps me. Like I don't have to think about that anymore. I just have to think of doing the work, which is extremely fun. And it's kind of liberating also in a sense. I don't have to focus on like useless things. Now, yeah, so I guess that's all for the second brain system. And let's talk about this week's updates. There is a singular update, and that is midterms. My midterms are coming up soon, and my effort is basically just going into that. And like, because it's a new board, I don't really know how well I'm doing. So yeah, that is a thing that I have to focus on, and that is a thing I am focusing on. And yeah, so this is probably why today's is. I keep saying it's short, but it's never really short. My podcast, the podcast episodes. So yeah, so. And YouTube. Oh, I forgot. The YouTube channel is up and running. I have videos that are being published, and that is very exciting. I like making videos, and that is cool. So, yeah. Anyway, so thanks for listening. I think that will be all for today. I need to get back to finishing some work that is of value or rather of academic value. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening and goodbye.